What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in to 1TS Daily for June 11th. It's a Tuesday, 2024. How's it going? I am your host, Zack Heydorn. Some new digs today. I don't have my hat on. I got the hair done. It's a wild day, but we're here. We're still talking the news of the day, the news of the week in professional wrestling, and we're here with you. And I'm so glad to have everybody here with us. Eddie's in the chat right now. Others are filing in. We got a lot to get to and a lot to talk about. My name is Zack Heydorn. I am your host. You can catch me and more of what I do at Brass Ring Media. So I encourage you guys to find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. We're live all throughout the week. Just search Brass Ring Media on YouTube and we will pop right up. We've got longer form shows on the current events in professional wrestling that you're definitely going to want to check out. I think it's a really good balance, this show with those shows. So if you like what we do here, I think you'll like what we do there. Once again, it's Brass Ring Media. Also, man, I can't believe it, but we're already over a weekend to this One True Sport endeavor that we're all traveling on. If you haven't been to onetruesport.com, head there right now. Check out the membership options that we have. They're robust. We've got all sorts of we got all sorts of different perks that go with different memberships at different price points. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to get in the door and experience what we do here at One True Sport. Once again, it's onetruesport.com. You can follow us on Twitter at 1TS Sport. Cool. Okay. So now that we have some of those propers out of the way, well, actually, I take that back. We do have the live chat open. We have super chats open as well. If you're able to ask a question and put a contribution behind it to 1TS Daily and to One True Sport, we certainly would appreciate it. The live chat's open too. So if you're not able, but you still want to contribute, definitely do so. That's why we have the live chat open. Liam just jumped in there. What's going on, Liam? How are you, my friend? Man, it's so much fun seeing similar faces pop up on a day-to-day basis. That is the vibe we're going for here. We want this to be a daily stop for you, quick hit, 11 Eastern every day. And so it's cool to see people coming back. And good morning to you, Eddie. So glad to have you here, man. All right, let's jump right in to the news of the day. And we really can't start a Tuesday episode of 1TS Daily without talking about Monday Night Raw. That seems weird to me. So let's talk about it, as Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes would say. We had our final Clash of the Castle hype yesterday on WWE Raw, and I thought they hit the big notes efficiently. Going into last night's show, as we said yesterday during our preview, they needed to get more depth behind Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I think they did that. I also think that, you wanted to see another chapter of Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. They accomplished that. They did that too. So I think when you look at the big picture of, how WWE did with the final hype for the show, you gotta give it a thumbs up with some caveats. What, in your mind, what are those? How do you think the build was, the final hype for Clash of the Castle? Let me know in the comments. Let me know with a super chat. I'd appreciate it, but I also want to talk through some of your thoughts as we go live here and talk about the show. We'll preview Clash of the Castle in full on Friday, Friday's episode of 1TS Daily. So don't worry. We're going to preview everything like we always do here, but it'll be on Friday. Cool. But the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre stuff has me a little bit confused is the wrong word. But I kind of have been furrowing my brow at a lot of it lately. It seems to me like WWE is trying to have their cake and eat it too with this Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre feud. Because on one hand, they want the big match, right? They want the big match. They want Drew McIntyre in Glasgow, Scotland, to be in the main event to wrestle for the world title and for him to get a huge star reaction. The international reactions from crowds like in Puerto Rico, in France, like we saw in the UK for Clash at the Castle a couple of years ago, like it's kind of a thing in WWE now. they like to tout that, and they like those big, strong reactions. And Perth was another one with Rhea Ripley, right? They paint themselves into these situations where they can get those big reactions in specific international markets. Well, Drew McIntyre is the guy that's that they're stepping up to the plate to get that on Saturday. Problem is, he's got 364 days throughout the rest of the year not to work in Scotland, and he's a heel, and he's being set up like the overarching program that he's really working on right now is him versus CM Punk, and McIntyre is the heel in that, not the babyface. And so with this Clash at the Castle hype, WWE is trying to thread that needle of, okay, we want Drew cheered in this match. And we want him to get a big reaction in this match, and we want him to win the title in this match. And so we're going to kind of paint him as this babyface in order to do that, opposite Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. How? Well, we're going to have the Judgment Day interfere, and we're going to have them like kind of essentially try to cost Drew McIntyre matches. And we're going to have Drew McIntyre beat him up as the audience cheers. We're going to have Drew still do his 3-2-1 thing in the corner, like before he hits his big Claymore kick. Like that's all there. And then, you know, you still have Judgment Day essentially playing heels within this feud as well. So it's complicated. It's complicated. And I don't know that WWE can pull it off long term. Look, short term, it's going to work. Short term, Drew McIntyre is going to get cheered at Clash at the Castle. He is going to be, you know, the star of that show, and they are going to get the reaction they want from that crowd. That's the reality. That's going to happen. Can they pivot off of that once Clash at the Castle is over? I'm not so sure. You know, it depends. It depends on how Drew does and how fans perceive him after that. Rhea Ripley was not able to turn the corner back to being a heel after essentially working babyface at the Perth show, at the Elimination Chamber show this past year. And it hurt the build to WrestleMania with Becky Lynch because Rhea Ripley had this tidal wave of support behind her, and she was unable to kind of pivot that back into people not liking her opposite Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch suffered because of that. And the match suffered because of that. People didn't know who to cheer for. They didn't know how to react. And I think WWE is sitting in a similar position with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. CM Punk's a good heel. He can be a good babyface at times, but there is that unlikable quality about him. And Drew McIntyre spitting truth about Punk the way that he has, I think up to this point has worked as a heel. But if you present him as the super babyface on Saturday afternoon or an evening in Scotland, like, are they going to be able to come back from that? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to. On the Damian Priest side of things, you know, they're teasing a babyface turn there. You know, when you have Dominic Mysterio doing what he's doing with Liv Morgan and being seduced by her. And I think this week you kind of had JD McDonough and Finn Balor covering for him. Essentially, like last week on the show, they were actively trying to get his head right about Liv Morgan. And this week it seemed like they were kind of like, okay, we're gonna go with this. We're gonna help you, right? You know, there's always a couple of those friends in the bunch. But Damian Priest is not there. He's telling Dominic, hey, get it together, you know, pull it together. And then you have Finn Balor yesterday on the show, like swipe the hotel key card for Dominic, you know, after Priest said to leave it. So they're clearly teasing a babyface turn there with him. But that is stunted and slowed because he's forced to go up against Drew McIntyre, who is playing babyface too. So it's all very complicated, and that's the caveat for this. Where I think, as I said, on Saturday, it's going to work. They're going to get the reactions that they want. Drew McIntyre is going to be cheered. Damian Priest is going to be booed, and boom, you've got the reaction you want on that day for whatever finish that you decide that you want to do. You're going to have that. But what comes next? That's the part where you need to think and really determine, like, is Drew a strong enough heel to not turn babyface by winning the title in Glasgow? Same thing with Damian Priest. Is he a strong enough babyface where, okay, he can manage working heel for one night? And my point in all this is to say, I don't think either of them are strong enough in their current roles in order to do that. That doesn't mean they're not stars. That doesn't mean they can't handle the like leading the show on a week-to-week basis. It just means that I just don't think that they are rooted enough in their alignments from a character perspective to risk what's going to go down at Clash at the Castle. So it's going to be super intriguing to see all that play out. This week on Raw, we also had final hype for Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. I thought that was really effective. Very effective stuff. Chad Gable, and I wrote about this morning for Brass Ring Media. You can head over to our Substack page and check that out. Everybody in the chat, hopefully you guys do that. Just head over to Brass Ring Media on Substack, search Brass Ring Media Substack, and we'll pop up. But I wrote about this, and Chad Gable is a guy who's really stepped up his game for this kind of heel feud with Sami Zayn and being this kind of heel mean guy coach for Alpha Academy. He's been so good. He's been so effective. But Sami Zayn has really carried the load for this whole story. That guy's ability to just pick up the audience, put them on his back, and carry them through a storyline and through a narrative is unbelievable. Like, it's unmatched. He is so efficient at that. Like, yesterday on the show, there was a point where he's talking to Otis and Maxine and Tozawa, and he's like, you guys might not believe in yourselves, but everybody in the arena does. And then that arena just erupts and cheers. And so, yes, everybody's played their part well, and everybody's doing their thing, but Sammy being the guy to like force the Otis turn, I think is just so effective because Sammy's so beloved, and he's got that audience that connection with an audience where people listen to and care what he has to say. And so I just give him all the credit in the world for helping to make this work and helping to get Chad Gable over to another level. Because the bottom line is they're going to play this angle out at Clash at the Castle. I'm certain of that. And I think at that point you're going to see both sides go their separate ways. You're going to see a babyface Otis tangle with Chad Gable, and you're going to see Sami Zayn move on. My guess is to someone like Braun Breaker. I think that's where the Zayn stuff is heading. But Gable, Otis, Sammy, Maxine, Tozawa, everybody involved is going to walk out of Clash of the Castle better than they did going in. And I think that's a testament to all their work together, but specifically Sami Zayn as the top star of the group, making sure that this all works properly. Eddie says here in the chat here, we need more Dragunov versus Breaker matches. Yes, we do. Man, that was such a good match yesterday on the show. I mean, definitely the match of the show for sure, match of the night. Breaker beat Dragunov, but Dragunov was a fighter in it, and he showed a lot of fire, and the two of them just beat the tar out of each other. The chops, my goodness. I mean, they weren't Gunther chops, but ouch, they were chops nonetheless. Yesterday, Braun Breaker, news throughout the week, as we talked about on 1TS Daily last week on this show, was that Breakker is in line for a big push, but also a bigger push than what was originally planned, because officials in WWE have been so happy with what he's been doing. And this week, I think you saw that kind of in real time on television. He had a big video package that kind of laid a foundation for his character. The way commentary talked about him was glowing, as like a, not even really the next big star, but like a current big star badass on the roster. So that helped. And then he got not only a big win over Dragunov, but a huge angle with what's his name, with Ricochet too. Putting Ricochet off the shelf. So that's a lot for one episode of Raw for one single act in Braun Breakker. So he's getting the chance. But I agree, this match was excellent, and I don't think this will be the last time, Eddie, that you see this these two in the ring tangling one-on-one. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you, man. Also here, Liam says, I didn't get a chance to watch Raw, but followed along on Twitter whilst at work. I thought the AOP Truth and Miz segment was great. Hey, man, Liam, it's great that you thought it was great. I mean, that's the thing. WWE is trying to put a lot on Raw that a lot of people like. It's not for me. It's not for me personally. I'm kind of just rolling my eyes at the comedy a little bit, but I'm clearly the minority in that. I mean, I'm absolutely the minority in that. The audience reacts the way you do, Liam. And that's why they keep putting out these vignettes. And so even though it's not for me, I can sit back with a critical eye and say, well, it's not for me, but it's working for the broader audience. And so I'm not surprised, Liam, that you enjoy it, and hopefully they keep going with it for you, man. Thanks so much for the comment. I appreciate it. All right, let's move on here. Iyo Sky appeared via a video message on the new Marigold show yesterday, or today, I guess. It's a new Joshi promotion, and Iyo Sky appeared and challenged Utami Hashishida to a match at Marigold Summer Destiny show this summer. That's big news. I mean, you knew that Marigold and WWE had a working relationship together. We knew that. Since Marigold started, they seemingly had the support of WWE. Like, WWE has been hovering. There's a lot of talent in WWE that are connected to folks that are running that new Marigold promotion and other talent in it. So it was just a matter of time. Julia, who is a major Joshi star, who appeared at NXT Stand and Deliver this year in the crowd, is a member of the Marigold roster. So there's some crossover. There. But more so than that specific crossover, it's another indication of WWE branching out and kind of extending branches outside of their own bubble. And I think that's interesting. It's interesting to see them do this. Marigold is with WWE kind of not leading the ship, but backing them, not financially or anything like that, but just from a support standpoint and from a talent exchange standpoint. Marigold's going to make some waves. And what does that do for WWE? Because I mean, look, it's WWE, it's business. They're not doing this just for, out of the kindness of their hearts. They want to get something out of this. And so, when you see them doing this with TNA, when you now see them doing this with Marigold, you have to wonder to yourself, why? And I think when I look at it, I say to myself, okay, it's a talent play. They want inroads to key talents. If they have an inroad to talent that are coming from TNA, because they're connected with that organization, that gives them a leg up in negotiating with those talents. Same thing here with Marigold. If they've got an inroad with a relationship to Marigold, they've got access to those talents that a place like AEW doesn't have. And so I think that's the end game here. They want different places around the world to build talent and to grow talent and to send talent if they need to. And so rather than, start up different promotions around the world, well, hey, let's just partner with some. And not only do we have and do we get what we want, but we also, as I've talked about on the show a few times now, you get the company gets the perception of being open to working with others. And I think right now, with wrestling fans, that's a popular perception to have. I think people and fans like that AEW opened the forbidden door and is willing to do work with other promotions. I think that there's a cool factor there, and I think Paul Levesque wants that for WWE, and he wants that for himself too. I think he wants to be like on the cutting edge of booking and on the cutting edge of creative, and so these partnerships help to that endeavor too. Yeah, Eddie says here, Zach, just like the territory days. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not exactly the same because they're not necessarily competing with one another, but there's different places that WWE is trying to place their footprint and their influence. And again, it's not just because they want to be cool and kind to Marigold. They want something out of it. They want that access to talent. They want that footprint in different areas of the globe. And so I think this is going to help that. Iyo Sky being the one to go over there is the right call. She's got, experience, as I said, with talent and leadership with Marigold. And the match with Hashishita, I mean, damn, like it's going to be a really good match. If you haven't checked out Utami Hashishita's work, I encourage you to do so. It's top notch. It's high level. It's premier stuff. And so, Iyo Sky is really going to be able to spread her wings again here and have another big time match. So we'll see. Marigold Summer Destiny 2024. That's this summer. All right, NXT is tonight. The show is loaded with stuff. We've got Javon Evans versus Sean Spears, Wes Lee teaming with New Catch Republic to take on Gallus. There's going to be a Singapore Cane match, Dante Chen versus Lexis King. Jada Parker is going to take on Michin. Eddie Thorpe is advertised for his return. Wendy Chu is advertised for a return. And Cody Rhodes is expected to appear. They're promoting an appearance from the WWE World Champion, our undisputed World Champion, Cody Rhodes. So a big night on NXT, a huge night on NXT. Obviously, the question is, what is Cody Rhodes going to do, right? I mean, and we know what Cody Rhodes is going to do, guys, right? We know. He's going to go out there and he's going to be Cody Rhodes. He's going to be the talking mouthpiece of WWE. He's going to put over NXT. My guess is he gets into a little scuffle, either a war of words with a lower level babyface, like on like a Noam Dar level, and beats him up, or, he just cuts a promo on him, and then that's it. I don't think you're going to get anything significant here. Like, this isn't going to be, or maybe Carmelo, or maybe Cody Rhodes, interacts and cuts a promo with Trick Williams to get Trick Williams some FaceTime with Cody and get a little Cody dust sprinkled on him. That could be in the cards. But, this is a kind of a lever that WWE likes to pull to get more eyes on NXT. And they've got the match loaded up with matches, or the show loaded up with matches too. So if you're tuning in to see Cody, you're going to get a heavy dose of other NXT stuff. I think it's a good strategy. The matches are a little weak. I'll be honest. I would assume that they are going to add to this match card with some sort of segment. Like, there's not a main event listed there unless Cody Rhodes' appearance is going to be the main event, which I doubt. So they're going to have to add something. And my guess is whatever Cody Rhodes does lead to that main event. We haven't seen Wendy Chu in a while. She's had vignettes for the last few weeks. We'll see what she does. I mean, her gimmick, just I don't know what that sound is, but that's me being unsure about her future with the gimmick. I think she needs a gimmick change. I think Chu is did all she can with that gimmick, and she needs to pivot and make it a little bit fresher, make it something more that can live more inside of a pro wrestling ring in WWE. And right now, this gimmick just, I mean, flat out, it just doesn't. It just absolutely doesn't. And so we'll see what she does upon returning. Eddie Thorpe is returning as well. I'm high on this guy. I think Eddie Thorpe is a really good prospect for WWE. He's got a good look, fresh character. He can wrestle in the ring. He's had a whole bunch of different kind of matches. Like he's had the big feud with Dijak. Showed a lot from Thorpe, that he can wrestle kind of, in ring stuff, but that he can also do some hardcore stuff and do some street fights and things of that nature. So I think that's a talent worth investing in. If I'm Shawn Michaels and I'm Paul Levesque, and Thorpe's return has been promoted, hyped with video packages and vignettes. So I think they are behind him, but I'm curious. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table tonight on the show. So we'll recap tomorrow, of course, right here on 1TS Daily. But yeah, should be a big night on NXT with Cody Rhodes as the lead. All right, couple more minutes left here, guys. 1TS Daily Nuggets for June 11th, 2024. Speaking of Cody, Cody has announced that he's agreed to purchase a wrestling ring for SGW Uganda, which is a really cool thing. You can go online right now on social media. You can see Cody's video that he made for the folks at SGW Uganda. They're a wrestling organization, independent wrestling organization in Uganda that was kind of working shows and doing stories, but not using a wrestling ring. Well, Ospreay's been involved with that promotion from a support perspective. And so, Cody stepping up and going to help that organization get a ring. Pretty cool and classic Cody. I mean, this is like right up Cody's alley. This is why part of the reason why Cody is such a big baby face. Like he does cool stuff like this. And he's really likable in doing that. But more so, it seems genuine. Like it doesn't seem like Cody does this stuff just to, come across as a better babyface. He does, but ultimately you get the sense that it's authentic and that he really wants to help this organization out. And I think that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Liam says, can they call themselves soft ground wrestling if they get a ring though? Yes, they can, and they should. There's history there, Liam. There's history there, my friend. And so, yeah, I think they will. I think they should, and I think they can. So, thumbs up to that. Also, Anthony Bowens has been named the 2024 Pride Grand Marshal. Also, just awesome for Anthony Bowens. Good for him. It's good for the wrestling business to have somebody in the LGBTQ plus community out there, and he's a great face for that. And I think it's wonderful that he's been put in that spot, and he's whatever he does in wrestling, just helps him and helps his that messaging. And it's clear that he continues to position himself as somebody who's going to be at the front, for the LGBTQ plus community. And I think that's fantastic. And it's really cool to see that get recognized. So good for Anthony Bowens, and congrats to him. All right, guys. And that's it. And 30 minutes goes quick, too quick. Love talking with you guys. And we'll be back tomorrow, right here on 1TS Daily on the One True Sport YouTube channel. Once again, I'm Zack Heydorn. You can follow my work at Brass Ring Media. Head over there now. Subscribe to our content. We really appreciate it. Same thing with One True Sport. Head over to OneTrueSport.com and think about becoming a member. We've got lots of different membership tiers, lots of point of entry into what we're doing here at One True Sport, and you're not going to want to miss anything. So definitely check that out. Once again, it's onetruesport.com for One True Sport membership, and Brass Ring Media on YouTube for more longer form analysis from me, from my team over at Brass Ring. Cool. Thanks so much. Thanks to Eddie. Thanks to Liam. Thanks to everybody else who watched live here on YouTube. Thanks to everybody who watched live on Twitter. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow right here, 11 Eastern, for 1TS Daily. Later.